Welcome to a series that we call The End of Times, where we go through the book of Revelation verse by verse to try our best to see what it is we can expect to happen in the end times, or the times Jesus referred to as the end of the age. And as we've gone through the book of Revelation verse by verse, where we are in the book of Revelation is John has been taken up into the throne room of God, where we're given a chance to look around. And he notices that God has a scroll in his hand with 7 seals. And what's written in that scroll is the divine appointment of the coming of his kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. And it's determined that only Jesus Christ is worthy to open that scroll. And as Jesus breaks each seal one by one, what we see is events take place on the earth that are caused by man. Now, horsemen who are spiritual leaders of God, they are kind of helping manipulate the process, but generally speaking, it's the hearts of men, the evil hearts of men, that are causing these things to happen. And what takes place is rulers are appointed, then there's massive war, followed by massive famine, followed by massive death, followed by heavy persecution of the Christians, and then eventually that scroll is opened up. And what we see at that point is the wrath of God for the first time. And that starts in the form of 7 trumpets. The first trumpet blasts, and fire and hail come down on a third of the earth, which is Babylon, which we'll get into later. Then a meteor comes and strikes the shore, off the shore of Babylon, and a third of the earth is then impacted by that, followed by an angel named Wormwood who comes down and poisons the hearts of the men on that third, and then followed by darkness on that third. And that's 4 trumpets. When the 5th trumpet blasts, now what we're seeing is the wrath of God on the entire planet, not just Babylon, but the entire planet. And what it begins is at that first blast, an angel comes down and opens up the bottomless pit, which we talked about what that was. And then smoke just comes ripping out of it like a furnace, and it darkens the entire earth. Followed by these strange creatures that are coming out and stinging those who are not marked by God and causing them excruciating pain, and they torment them for 5 months. Now, I want to make an important note at this point that the trumpets for Christians is great news. That's like the cavalry showing up. Because up until that first trumpet, it was just heavy persecution of warring by the Antichrist against the Christians who are declaring Jesus Christ is Lord, while the Antichrist is saying, no, I am Lord, you know, follow me or else I'm going to chop your head off, essentially. So this is good news for Christians. And as these creatures come out and they're stinging men, it says at the end of 9, which is where we're at now, that they have a leader, and his name is Abaddon. We'll pick it up in 9 verse 10. They had tails like scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon. So this Abaddon, and as we checked out in the last episode, he's a pretty tough angel. So who is he? Well, there's a lot of verses that we can see who Abaddon is and who it is he's after and what it is his mission is. So if we go back to Jude chapter 1, and Jude is just one book back from Revelation, if we pick it up in verse 5, it says, "But I want to remind you, though you once knew this, that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed those who did not believe. And the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own habitation, he is reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day." So ultimately what this is Abaddon is a very mighty angel who apparently has caused some problems, and we're going to see a lot of what those problems are. But he and many other angels, fallen angels, we're talking demonic things, are being held in Sheol or below in this bottomless pit. So as we noticed, an angel, a mighty angel, just opened the pit, and now we see all these creatures coming out, followed by the announcement that they have a king over them, and his name is Abaddon. But who is Abaddon? Well, if we take a look at Proverbs 27, we're going to start to begin to see who Abaddon is. In Proverbs 27:19, as in water face reveals face, talking about your reflection, so a man's heart reveals the man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. And that word destruction is Abaddon. So we're starting to kind of get an idea of Abaddon. His name is literally destruction. Now, it also says that it's never full. He's never full. He's never satisfied. There's always this evil from the heart. As long as men are on the world, you can continue to fill up Sheol and Abaddon. So if we then take a look at Proverbs 15, 8 through 11, it says, "The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves him who follows righteousness. Harsh correction is for him who forsakes the way, and he who hates reproof will die. Hell and Abaddon are before the Lord, so how much more the hearts of the sons of men?" So ultimately what they're saying here is it's about the hearts of men. So again, these trumpets, these are good news for Christians, but this is not good news for those who have not been washed clean by the blood of Christ, because Abaddon is coming out to seek to destroy those who are not marked by God. It's about a judgment. What's taking place here is God's judgment. Now, Abaddon, destruction, is the one causing it, but God is only allowing him to touch those who are not marked by God. So it is, in a roundabout way, the judgment of God. Now, the righteous will escape because they are cleansed by the blood of Christ. But Abaddon and his troops are all about destroying really anybody, but God has said, no, you cannot destroy those who are marked. Now, how can we avoid being destroyed by Abaddon and his troops? Well, if we take a look at Job 38. I love the book of Job. It's the oldest book in the Bible. It's probably the oldest complete text on the planet, and Job has a lot to say about Abaddon. If we go to Job 38, chapter 31, starting in verse 9. "If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind for another, and let others bow down over her, for that would be wickedness. Yes, it would be iniquity worthy of judgment, for that would be a fire that consumes to Abaddon, and would root out all my increase." So it's about the wickedness. Wickedness ultimately leads to Abaddon lurking after you and coming after you. So wickedness leads to destruction, in other words, particularly in a literal sense, on the great day of the Lord, like it said in Jude 1:6. So what is it literally that we can do? Why is it that Abaddon is after some but not after others? Well, if we take a look at Job 28. "From where then does wisdom come? And where is the place of understanding? It is hidden from the eyes of all living and concealed from the birds of the air. Abaddon and death, says we have heard a report about it with our ears. God understands its way, and he knows its place. For he looks to the ends of the earth and sees under the whole heavens to establish a weight for the winds and mete out the waters by measure. When he made a law for the rain and a path for the thunderbolt, then he saw wisdom and declared it. He prepared it indeed, he searched it out. And to man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and depart from evil is understanding." So if we kind of look at this in a better sense, it says Abaddon and death have heard a report about this thing called wisdom. It's the fear of the Lord. They've heard about it, but it's mostly just rumors because it's so easy to destroy men. It's so easy because of the wickedness of their hearts. So this whole entire thing that is taking place on the whole world with this fifth trumpet blast is essentially the world has been darkened, and now these creatures are tormenting and causing a lot of pain for 5 months, men who don't fear the Lord. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not that complicated. I mean, it is by, at a glance, but when you break it down, what we're talking about is fear the Lord. It's the beginning of wisdom. Once you have that piece, then it's going to be followed by recognizing that you have the need of a Savior, and that is Jesus Christ. And without that, Abaddon's coming. Hope this video helps. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Put them in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. If you feel called to support our channel through Patreon, that link is below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.